Greetings, loved ones. Have you experienced or thought the following? My partner is trying to make me seem crazy. Am I crazy? Today we're going to talk about how abusers use mind tricks and manipulation to portray survivors of abuse as insane. We're beginning a series on coercive control. Help us get these messages out. Please subscribe to our channel, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Hit the like button and the notification bell, and please share these messages with others because you never know, just by doing so, you could save a life. So we're going to talk about a story today. Sarah's abuser made her sleep facing him in bed. It started innocently enough. He said he liked it when she slept facing him so he could watch her fall asleep. It was so romantic. But what started out as a request quickly turned into a demand. He convinced her that rolling over meant turning her back on him, and he'd become furious, even if she did it unthinkingly in that period between wakefulness and slumber. Sarah, she used to lie awake until she was certain he was asleep and then quietly roll over onto her right side, which is how she preferred to sleep. She had to take 2 Tylenol PMs every night for a year to fight off the anxiety and actually be able to sleep. And because the medication knocked her out, she wouldn't wake up in the middle of the night to pee, and she started getting frequent bladder infections. Her abuser said the infections were her fault, that she was dirty. Was I? She would ask herself. At a happy hour with friends, a conversation about sleeping positions arose, and Sarah's abuser, he put his arm around her and kissed her on the temple, and he said, "We love sleeping face to face, because we can't bear to be out of each other's sight." She smiled, while the other couples oohed and ahed, everyone impressed by his sense of romance. Maybe she had it all wrong, Sarah thought. Maybe I'm the one that's crazy. I want you to know that psychological abuse cuts very deep. The mind games that abusers play can make a survivor feel like he or she is losing their mind, and the effects can be longer lasting than physical abuse. In a survivor's mind, when an abuser is being physically violent, it is clear that the abuser is causing the violence. But with psychological abuse, the perpetrator makes the victim believe she is the cause. This makes the survivor's mind work against them, and that they'd be crazy to think otherwise. Ramani Durvasula, I love this doctor. She's a licensed clinical psychologist, professor of psychology, and author of Should I Stay or Should I Go? Surviving a Relationship with a Narcissist. I have this book. She tells us that, in essence, the perpetrator is consistently questioning their victim's reality, and at the same time are often isolating them, leaving the victim confused, plagued by self-doubt, and feeling like they're going crazy. This phenomenon of gaslighting or chronically second-guessing someone is a classic part of the domestic violence dynamic. An overwhelming 85% of people who participated in a survey after calling into the National Domestic Violence Hotline said that their abusers have called them crazy, and it doesn't stop there. Abusers often take steps to make survivors seem crazy to everyone else, including loved ones, friends, and the courts. In fact, 50% of the respondents in the hotline survey stated that their partners had threatened to report they were mentally unstable to authorities in order to get what they wanted, such as child custody. And unfortunately, it often works. Ramani Durvasula says, because perpetrators have rather broken emotional worlds, they can calmly lie and manipulate the truth, leaving the victim seeming overly emotional to the world or the courts. In our oppressive culture, we pathologize emotion and assume people who are unemotional are somehow healthier. Narcissistic abusers are masterful storytellers and can sell their reality so well that people end up believing them. It's lies, 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 and more lies. So what can you do if your abuser is making you feel crazy? Start by knowing this: you are not crazy. Durvasula says, in my work with people, I always try to bring them back to their sense of instinct. If it doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. One way to ground yourself is by keeping a journal. Document conversations and incidents with your abuser so you can look back and see what's happened, even though he or she might try to convince you later that it didn't happen. Try to make and maintain connections with others so your abuser doesn't isolate you, which fuels more emotional abuse. And confide in someone. Pick someone you can be truthful with, whether a friend or a counselor, and tell him or her what's going on. Getting an outsider's perspective can be helpful in preserving your sanity. With 1 in 3 women experiencing domestic violence worldwide, the question is not if you will encounter a victim of violence. The question before God is, what will you do when you do encounter them? You could be the person who saves a life. You are called. We are all called to be champions for justice. Those who suffer violence, they need to know that those who love them and those who don't even know them will reach out and step out to them to give them the help and the courage they need to leave before it's too late. So help us get these messages out. Please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Hit the like button and the notification bell. And please share these messages with others. If you are a victim of violence, listen to me now. You've been told lie after lie after lie. I want you to know the truth. And the truth is, you are valued. You are loved. You are intelligent. And you are beautiful. God does not want you to suffer violence. He wants you to live free from violence in peace and tranquility. And there is a way out. It's not your fault. Abuse is not love. If you're a victim of violence, please reach out to someone. If you find yourself in a dangerous situation, call 911 for help. Next week, we're going to be working on this series about coercive control. So until then, God bless you.